And it is game time in the bronze medal game. Canada in white, Germany in black, and we are underway. And it is Thomas Boma inside for Guntner. Nice feed for Dreimuller. And then it's going to be knocked away by Canada, but it's going to be awarded to Germany. Dreimuller inbounds it for Boma. Slings it across for Guntner. Dallaire got a hand on it. Still going to be Germany ball. 7 seconds on the shot clock.
You can see just the length of Dallaire on that. He sits really low in his chair, as the majority of lower pointers do, with them having less core stability as a rule. But he's got such long arms, he's still able to challenge some of those forwards.
Long shot put up, and Tyler Miller is on the floor for Canada. So as advertised, Colin Higgins had huge numbers earlier in the tournament. It was a lot tougher slugging for him in games against the U.S., etc. This ball and rebound collected by Dallaire. Canada gets a new 14-second shot clock to work with. Here's Anderson. Slings it for Higgins from the baseline. The miss. Rebound collected by Germany, and off they go.
You can see the high line defense from Germany really, really effective. When they play with a solid line on the three-point line, there's just no space for Canadian cuts. They're forced to take these shots from outside.
Nice steal, though, by Dallaire. He's had some nice active hands early on here. Anderson averaging 19 points per game in the tournament. Spins, looks, gives to Ostapchuk, coming off that 10-point game against the U.S., and he's got a bucket.
We talked about before the game the effectiveness of the Canadian low pointers, and Ostapchuk has absolutely epitomized that as the tournament's been going on. Really, really consistent shooting from the guy who plays most of the time all around the free throw line, facilitates a lot.
And the first basket of the game for Germany goes to Guntner. Plays for Landel in the German league. One of the best pro basketball teams out there. Here's Ostapchuk. Gives for Anderson from the elbow. Hits it.
As you mentioned, the Landel Club, a lot of these Canadian players will know the Germans very, very well. Historically, a lot of connections between the two nations. And Patrick Anderson, for example, spending his early professional career playing at Landel alongside a very, very young Thomas Boma at that time.
And he was complimenting Boma on his left-hand passing earlier in the week. The shot misses. It's going to be Higgins who comes up with the rebound. And Canada looks to head on offense. Higgins kicks it out for Anderson. And he slams one in.
You can see the difference in the defenses there. Initially, Germany in the offense previously had played a really high line. That time, Ostapchuk able to break that line. Germany's defense had to collapse, and that opened that shot up so much more for Anderson.
Here's Boma, the 32-year-old. His shot misses. Rebound collected by Anderson, who's also a dynamite rebounder, almost 10 of those per game. Works it in for Higgins, and that basket's not going to count, but it looked good.
Yeah, we've seen a huge variety of finishes from Higgins so far through this tournament. He's a guy who's come up and lit it up from the three-point line, but he's also able just to explode inside, as we saw there. Nice touch off the glass, despite not counting.
Over 16 points per game for Higgins. Patrick Anderson for...
Very different to 13,000 people.
Look at the traffic jam over there on the left side of your screen. And we have got a foul call here. Or do we?
You can see that's been a feature of the tournament so far. As soon as a team have looked for a back pick, that's been a signal to the rest of the opposition. Say, okay, if they're back picking us, we're just going to press up. We're going to make it as difficult as possible for you to get up the floor.
Kind of like turning defense into offense. Dreimuller hits one. Germany needed that.
Yeah, Dreimel scoring from outside is going to be absolutely key. Canada are aware of how dangerous Boma can be. They're going to look to lock him down. They're going to look to match up with the size of Matthias Guntner. And Nico Dreimel could absolutely be the X factor here in the game.
Here is Thomas Boma. Tommy, I guess, as everybody calls him. Guntner, now Dreimel. Back to Boma. Still time to work on the clock. Dreimel takes his time. Off the back four, or at least off the rim and out. Might get another shot from here. 5 on the shot clock for Dreimel. Gives it to Guntner, and he draws the foul. And that's going to be on Tyler Miller, it looks like.
Just see the conversation between Anderson and Miller there. Anderson maybe just questioning, was it necessary to foul there? Matthias Guntner, a guy who's really developed his range over the last couple of years, but even from him, that was quite a long-range post-up.
Germany as a team, 63% free throw shooting team. And Guntner smartly goes 2 for 2.
Yeah, Matthias Guntner is one of those German players who's been fantastic from the line so far today. Today and through this tournament, rather. He's averaging personally 64%.
Higgins drops it for Dallaire, arrives late, can't get the layup. Had to deal with Boma zooming through his line of sight. Here's Buda. Slips it inside for Boma. Now Dreimel, Boma, still time, 5 on the shot clock. They try to work it in. Higgins got a good hand on it. Now Guntner launches one as the shot clock's expiring. And Anderson picks up the ball. He's got Higgins all alone for the layup, and he makes no mistake.
You can see the first subs about to come in for Germany as well here. And at the minute, Germany are just struggling to break down this Canadian defense. It's tough for them at the moment to get Matthias Guntner close to the edge of the key. So, as we said before, the variability for Germany is to bring in Alex Haluski, who is absolutely deadly from outside. Three-point range is also very dangerous for him.
Haluski here on this side of your screen, the number 14, comes in with Tobias Hell. Here's Boma from in behind the screen. Little short, rebounded by Ostapchuk.
Dangerous tactic by Canada to leave Thomas Boma completely alone. He's somebody who can heat up very quickly and make shots from all over the place. So it's okay to test him, but leaving him completely open is dangerous.
Colin Higgins says, I'm dangerous as well, sets up in behind the screen and gives Canada a 13-6 lead. Boma being watched by Dallaire, gives to Haluski. Boma. Dallaire staying tightly on him. Puts it across. Haluski can't handle it, but he goes and tracks it down. 1 second on the shot clock. Launches one. And another trip that doesn't pay dividends for Germany. Here comes Higgins. Works it in for Anderson. We've got an offensive foul being called on Canada's number 5, Garrett Ostapchuk.
That was a little fortunate for Germany there because Patrick Anderson was flying through the middle there. He was about to get an uncontested layup, so just a slight lack of concentration there. You can see from a German perspective, they're really struggling to get their offensive game going at the moment. The timing is just a little off for them on their pick and roll. It's allowing Canada to play them just with 2 defenders. They're not needing to bring the help from the middle at the moment.
Shot clock starts as Dreimel picks up the ball. Here's Haluski. Boma, and he's going to hit from there more often than not, it seems.
You can see a slight change in setup from Germany here as well. They've taken out the absolutely huge Alex Buda and have brought in Jens Eicher Albrecht. A little smaller than Buda. There aren't many in the game who are as big as him, but very explosive, dangerous pick and roll player.
Ostapchuk couldn't finish. Higgins can't finish either on the rebound. And Germany's captain Boma calmly takes it back down the floor. His team down by 5, and he throws one up to draw the foul.
smart play from Thomas Boehmer, and he is one of the best players in the world at what I would call sort of making bad shots. These shots where you're off balance, you're spinning away, you take it with your wrong hand. There aren't many who are as good as Thomas Boehmer at knocking those down.
Wasn't that one though more about just getting the foul drawn?
Absolutely, and that's what I mean, that he's able to feel that contact, and as soon as he feels it, he's throwing it towards the basket, and he makes a really high percentage of those unbelievably difficult finishes.
It seems like he's throwing it away, and next thing you know, it's in the basket. He gets 1 out of 2. Canada's number 9, Colin Higgins, slings it across for Anderson. And he's found his range. Patrick Anderson, 9 points for the big man already.
Yeah, and a very quiet 9 points. It seems we haven't seen many of the highlight plays from him just yet, and he's just building up, ticking over the scoreboard here.
Freimuller, Boehmer. Here's Haluski, off the rim. Albrecht trying to track down the rebound. Great effort, but he couldn't quite do it.
That's Albrecht's game in a nutshell there. He is all hustle and energy and heart. He's someone who's going to fight for everything. As I said, not as big as Buddha, who he's replaced, and they play slightly under points when he comes in as well, but dangerous shooter from the middle distance and such a nuisance on defense.
Canada substituted. In comes Nick Gonchen in place of Colin Higgins. This has been a regular for them through the tournament. Gonchen looking for his first Paralympic medal. One of these teams is going to be happy at the end of this day, and one is going to be disappointed. Patrick Anderson, first player in the game to hit double digits, 11 points.
See the class of the man there as well. He knows exactly where the basket is, barely looks before he pulls the trigger there.
All you have to do is look at Patrick Anderson's Instagram and see all the drills he does and from all the spots he shoots. Spends a lot of time in the gym. I think everyone in this sport, Joe, has to spend a lot of time in the gym by themselves.
Absolutely, that's key. And any of the players who have reached the highest level, they all have spent hours and hours sat on their own in a sports hall, taking shot after shot after shot. And it can be a lonely existence doing that as an athlete, but they're the hours that you need to put in to really succeed.
You make friends with the janitor of the local high school, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. The amount of times I've had cleaners generously making me cups of coffee halfway through the day.
Here is Nick Gonchen. He's a prosthetist, works on prosthetics type orthotics. Maybe it's orthotics, actually. But always interesting when you see someone who wears a prosthetic, who's fascinated by that industry, and then they know a little bit more about the ins and outs of the performance side. Boehmer underneath for Haluski. And there you go, Alex Haluski contributing offensively.
That's going to be a huge point for Germany if they're able to get Haluski going in the game. He's struggled a little for his own very, very high standards so far in the tournament. But if he can heat up, then that'll make Germany much more difficult to stop.
You're right, though. At some games, he's had one game he had 0 points, another game he had 2, and then he can come back and get 15 points like he did in the quarterfinal.
Definitely. He's someone who can heat up very quickly as well, similar to Tommy Boehmer. So it'll be an interesting watch to see if that works. Interestingly, defensively for Germany, you can see the change they've made with Jan Haller coming in. Jan Haller, similar to Dallaire for Canada, incredibly long arms, and he's looking to match up with Anderson on his mismatches at the moment.
Haller makes the pass to Boehmer, thinks about 3. Now into the hands of Haluski. That rattles out. We're into the final half minute of the opening quarter. 6-point lead Canada. Patrick Anderson, the point leader in the game. And he draws the foul on Tobias Hale.
I feel like the difference at the moment is just the difficulty of the shots the two teams are having to take. Canada doing a great job breaking down this German defense and getting relatively open looks for Anderson, whereas there's been a number of occasions already where Germany are watching the shot clock count down. There's maybe only a second to go and they're having to put just something up. And that's a little bit the story at the moment.
Canadian captain Bo Hedges is on the floor. He's got the ball from the free throw line. And rebound, Miller almost had a hand on it, but it's gathered in by Haluski. Germany, one last shot at the basket. Here's Boma. Close, Haluski rebound. And Germany came that close.
We're seeing this set here from Canada, looking to maybe set the pick for Anderson early, but Germany jumping and pushing a long way out on the inbound. Not making it easy for him there.
Underway, second quarter action. Anderson tries to shovel it inside for Gonchen. It's knocked away by Germany. It'll be Canada ball with 9 on the shot clock.
A change in defensive style as well here for Germany. You can see Matthias Guntner is sagging really deep into the key, looking to take any cuts away, and then Germany looking to use their speed on the outside.
Bo Hedges gives back to Gonchen, has a bit of time to shoot. It rattles out, and Buddha comes up with the rebound. And foul is being called here on Canada's Vermette.
That's been a little feature of this tournament so far as well. The sportsmanship between the teams, with Matthias Guntner just helping Vermette back into his chair, then instantly backpicking him and making sure that he can't get into his defense.
So is that sportsmanship or is that unsportsmanship? I don't know. You judge.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I would say.
We're in the
smart
first minute of the second quarter. 6-point lead Canada. Here's Nico Draimuller, and he hits. Kind of player who can get red hot.
You could see a little with the German offense, though, just how congested the middle of the key was. It was very difficult for them to find any easy inside shots.
Hedges left alone, and turns out that was the right decision for Germany, as the Canadian captain could not drop that one in. Draimuller, quick pass for Guntner, back to Draimuller, quick feed, and in from Glossner. And a quick timeout.
You can see this backpick tactic again here. Germany looking to set as high a line as possible on Gonchen and Anderson, not wanting to let them get anywhere near the edge of the key.
Gonchen from the right side. Still time to work, puts one up and in. There's another player who can get hot and hurt a team.
I think Gonchen, is fair to say, sets very high standards, and we haven't seen the volume of scoring from him so far that he's maybe would expect of himself, depending on the minutes he gets, of course. But again, someone who can be so dangerous, and as you say, if he heats up, that could be a big problem for Germany.
Same could be said of Draimuller. This time it's rattles in and out. Gonchen picks it up. He had a 16-point game in the quarterfinal against the Netherlands. And Glossner fouls Gonchen. I think that's Glossner. Yes, it is. He's a little banged up here.
Difficult for Lucas Glossner there, as we just see that Gonchen turning hard across the front of him. Glossner, not too much time to react, but had to try and get on the brakes there and didn't in time.
Germany's captain getting ready to come back in the game, Thomas Boma. So they are checking the instant replay.
Been a bit of a feature again of this games is the opportunity for the referees to use these replay systems. Usually in wheelchair basketball we don't have that opportunity, and it's been huge just to check these key possessions. If this is called as an unsportsmanlike in wheelchair basketball, that'll mean 2 free throws to Canada as well as possession. And in such tight games as we've seen here, those 2 free throws can be crucial.
I don't know, I don't think this seemed unsportsmanlike to me, but...
No, it didn't to me either. I think needs to be an understanding of classification and things there, and what movements was the player making. So I would be surprised, but you never know. There's been quite a few unsportsmanlikes called so far.
And it is called an unsportsmanlike. Glossner, a 1-point classification player. Gonchen, a 4.5.
I mean, there are a lot of these calls which are very subjective. As within a lot of sports, you need to try and almost see within the player's head and see what their intentions were. And that can be difficult for the referees at times, of course. They're not mind readers.
Gonchen, 40% free throw shooter through the tournament up until now. Gets 1 of 2, and Canada's now going to get to inbound the ball with a 5-point lead. Early stages, second quarter of this men's bronze medal match in Paris. Bo Hedges. Anderson. Quick pass out for Gonchen. Gets it back to Hedges. Shot clock running down. Anderson. And he's able to draw the foul. Might have called Thomas Boma the German captain earlier. He seems like such a great leader, but of course Jan Haller is the captain of this team. And that one thought long and hard about it.
Thomas Boma was just discussing with the referee there, just checking what exactly that call was for. Again, they can be subjective, some of these decisions in wheelchair basketball.
It's the first free throw that Pat Anderson has missed in this tournament. So you were pretty sure he wasn't going to miss 2 in a row.
Again, that feature, Germany looking to backpick Anderson straight off the free throw. And immediately that was a signal to Canada just to press up and free Anderson.
So this is going to be a foul. Nico Dreimuller draws it. It's on Jonathan Vermette. Both teams with 2 team fouls. We're 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Guntner and Boma trade passes. Boma in a really good spot for him. You leave him open like that and he'll score all day long.
That's where you can see the game IQ of Thomas Boma. He was taking all the time in the world there just to make sure that he didn't hurry too much, take something early and a better shot open up, but the pressure didn't come, and he's always going to knock that down.
And Pat Anderson hasn't really even got in the paint to score, and he's got 13 points.
In Germany's defense, as we saw in the semi-final as well, is all around stopping the players getting inside, but Patrick Anderson, so dangerous from everywhere on the court, really.
I just sold him 1 point short. He's got 14 already. He's going to try to pick up this pass. He does, lays it up, but not in that time. Might have rushed it, but he kind of had to with Buddha right there. Now Buddha's trying to head under the basket. Tyler Miller shuts off his path. Here's Dreimuller. Weaves his way in. He draws the foul. Smart play by the German Nico Dreimuller.
Dreimuller, a very, very good free throw shooter as well, and he's not the captain, but he's absolutely one of the leaders of this Germany team. And usually when you can hear a voice on the court just coming through your speakers, that's likely to be Dreimuller. He's constantly encouraging his teammates, leading from the floor.
He's just one of these guys, too, who looks like an athlete, doesn't he? Like, he just absolutely looks like no matter what sport he's going to play, he's going to be good at it. There he is. 26 years of age, from Frankfurt. Is he still playing for the Rhine River Rhinos?
He is, yeah. He plays under Michael Pay, the assistant coach of the U.S. men's team. Wheelchair basketball can be a small community at times, so a lot of these players and coaches know each other from the professional leagues. Nico, also one of the players, interestingly, one of the few German players who's played outside of Germany, having spent a season in Albacete in Spain.
It's always good for the growth. Inside pass, Miller tips it to Anderson. There's his first basket, I feel like, from in tight. 16 points for Anderson. And a timeout has been called here by Germany, down by 6.
respectively if you don't have a follow-through like that.
What about your core body? How much does that come in if you have core body strength?
That's the key. It depends very much on the classification. You can see players like I.W.B.Delinquents from Great Britain. He leans back in his chair to create that stability. Other players, maybe like Alex Zaluski, able to really generate power from their core and almost push up through their core.
Zaluski with the pass, Dreimuller with the finish. Executing exactly what Coach Joe was just talking about.
Yeah, Nico, a very, very physically strong player. Class 2.0, but someone who, I mean, you can see just from looking at him how strong and how tough he is.
Oh, and Gonshin was hoping to get the and one. Instead, it's an offensive foul called on Canada.
We've talked about subjective calls, and that's one I'll definitely need to see again to know if that was definitely an offensive foul. We see that absolute concentration from Dreimuller on that one, going up so straight and so strong.
Germany's cut the lead back to 4 again. Here's Boma. Haluski. And it just did not want to break the seal of the basket there.
You can see the difference in the types of scorers that Germany have there as well. There's an opportunity for Alex Zaluski to follow that seal into the basket. Decided against it, comfortable taking the post up from outside, whereas I'm willing to bet if that had been Matthias Guntner, he'd have been driving the lane, following the seal to get as close as possible.
Good rebound there for Canada's Gonshin. So Buda has just taken a foul on that play. Here is Gonshin. Puts it up and rattles it in.
Nick Gonshin, not the tallest of forwards. He doesn't have the size of someone like Guntner or Haluski or Anderson, but great composure there, despite the pressure from Tobias Hell.
Hell's got the ball now, distributes for Dreimuller. See if he can score from this side. Well, it again thought about it. Feels like Germany's been a bit unlucky.
Absolutely. I don't think that basket's any smaller than the other side, but they're definitely rattling around.
Here is Nick Gonshin. Distributes to the captain Hedges from the elbow, and I think he really likes that spot.
Yeah, no surprise there is zero emotion on Hedges' face there as he knocks that one down. He's another player who's been here 1,000 times before.
Got a Paralympic gold and silver medal to his credit. Here's Boma from behind the screen, and he is money from there. Canadian lead cut down to 6. Anderson, one arm pass across for Gonshin. Slings it back to Anderson, and then the return. Now Hedges. Kind of an unorthodox shooting style from Bo Hedges.
Yeah, his is almost like the lower point version of Brian Bell's shot. It comes really off his shoulder. A lot of players come a lot more central when they finish. He's one who comes right off his shoulder.
Rare miss on a layup from Boma.
What we did see there was how two-handed Boma was, though. There was no hesitation, just straight to his left hand for that finish.
Gonshin inside for Hedges. Couple of pump fakes, and then he gets it to go. Canada shooting 50% from the field so far in the game. Here's Boma, weaves his way into the lane, draws another foul. Canada in the bonus, and so he's going to go to the line. I guess he would have anyway.
Germany 5 of 6 from the line so far today. And as we said earlier, very, very dangerous free throw shooting team. So this might just help them to get a little bit of touch and a little bit of rhythm from the strike.
Cool as you like.
Yeah, he's a very, very composed player, Tommy Boma. He's someone who, early in his career, as a lot of youngsters do, got pretty nervous around big games, understandable, but he's matured in his role as a leader at Landale and here with Germany so much over the last few years.
Well, and when they needed his best performance, he gave it to them in the quarterfinal, and they won that. Good rebound there for Vermette on the shot from Glossner. Canada back to offense, leading by 7. Ball in the hands of Mr. Patrick Anderson. And he is fouled by Boma. Second personal foul on Boma. Anderson's fine, he's gonna pop right back up.
We've seen that called a few times this tournament, where players have run up the wheel of the opposition, come out, and a foul has been called. Always something I find a little difficult to judge. If the player's up the back wheel of their opponent, is there necessarily a foul? And it adds to the subjectivity of the sport.
Nick Gonchin kicks it back for Chad Jasmine. And he has been doing that from time to time throughout this tournament.
Yeah, we spoke about it earlier. Team Canada's low point is ability to score, particularly from the middle, where they have so many threats on the wings. That shot from the middle has been so dangerous for them.
Lots of contact out there. Officials letting it go. Here's Boma, watched by Gonchin, who tries to swat the ball away. 5 on the shot clock. Boma puts one up, no foul drawn, rebound picked up. And Gonchin racing in, and this ball went off of Dreimuller's nicely coiffed hair, I think.
It was interesting to see that there was no foul called for Boma there. You could see he was really working hard behind the screen, but from an offensive perspective, I think Buddha may have been better trying to set the pick for Boma rather than making the one-on-one cut. It just slowed their offense down quite a lot.
Here's Nick Gonchin, has time, can't get it to fall. So with 93 seconds left in the half, Germany will try to get something going here into the break. Dreimuller working on an 8-point game already. He's all alone, allowed to shoot. Can't finish, and Gonchin's got the rebound.
Difficult shot for Dreimuller there. It's one of those you've pump faked a few times, you're driving through the lane, you're not really sure if it's your shot or not, and it's a tough skill to then be able to focus and knock that one down from a kind of in-between range.
And we've got a foul being called, I think, on Glossner.
Anderson does very well to draw that foul there. It was from up here, without seeing that again, it definitely looked like Glossner had good wheel position, but Anderson jumping his chair, emphasizing that contact, and it's a difficult situation there for a referee to know for sure what's happened.
Germany in the bonus. Anderson's going to shoot.
The last thing Germany need at the moment is to be giving him any free points.
You think?
Especially somebody like Anderson and his incredible free throw record.
18 points in the game for Big Pat Anderson. Canada's lead is up to 11. Inside the final minute of play in the opening half. Thomas Boma up there with Guntner. 2-on-2, waits for help from Dreimuller. He might have a path to the basket, then it gets shut down. Here's Boma right in. Fights off the defenders and puts in a nice basket.
And that's Tommy Boma all over there. His ability just to use his hips to weave, to create space, and find a finish where there appears to be no space whatsoever.
Here's Jasmine. That time it rattles out. Germany's going to get a chance. A couple of seconds difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Gonchin falls, pops himself right back up again. Here's Boma. Thinks about 3. And whistle goes. Foul on Canada.
As Dreimuller just driving through the lane there and just drawing the foul. Ideally, Germany would have had their shot slightly later in this quarter. They're going to give Canada an opportunity to get another offense here. But the opportunity to draw a foul on someone that maybe adds up and has an impact later in the game can also be a real positive for them.
Ostapchuk getting a message from the official. Dreimuller's going to get one more. 14 seconds left. Canada's got Chad Jasmine down on the other end of the floor.
Yeah, Jasmine just there as an outlet, as I imagine Germany are going to press out of this. They've brought Albrecht into the game for his speed, and as we can see, press defense straight away, and Jasmine there is the outlet.
And now here comes Ostapchuk to the basket by himself, too hard. And Germany's going to get one last chance here. Here's Albrecht with a long one, and that's short, and that's going to do it for the first half. I think I got everybody.
You can see this battle for position already. Germany, when they...
Here we go, second half action, and Germany setting up on defense, Joe.
Yeah, when Germany have this high line, we can see they're so much more effective. I.W.B.Delinquents just not reading the situation. They're overplaying it and being beaten by Miller. That was smart. And as I was saying, when Germany have this really high line, they're doing such a great job of limiting Canada's outside scoring, because the pick and roll game just isn't there. But when they get beaten and when it's flat against the edge of the key and they're not switched on enough, that's exactly when Anderson is just able to tee off from the middle distance.
Well, they're going to take that basket off the board, are they, Joe?
Difficult to see what's going on here.
So there was a tap-off situation. Interesting.
If they've started in the wrong direction here, it'll be interesting to see if they reset the clock back to 10 minutes as well.
Canada's head coach Matteo Farini. So they have erased it. Here we go, second half action. Interesting. Dreimüller, Boma. Boma still with it, works his way into the paint. And then the shot misses. Anderson.
Change in defense from Germany here. They're looking to extend a little with Buddha and Boma, just putting some pressure on Anderson. They'll be aware, like, Anderson is not the youngest man anymore. Absolutely an unbelievable athlete, as we can see. But if they can work him and they can tire him out a little, maybe that'll start to impact on his shooting percentage.
Nico Dreimüller, nice job working his way into the lane and rolls it in. Dreimüller gets Germany to within 4 points here. Check that, 6 points. And the math has never been my best quality, Joe.
You can see that German change in defense and the danger behind it. They had the high line and the press almost against Anderson. One pick, though, and Anderson had broken all the way down the court to a great shooting position.
First player to hit 20 points in the game, and it's not even close. Pat Anderson leading Canada. Back to 8 points again. Dreimüller. He's been Germany's best shooter in the game. Guntner, Dreimüller. And foul there, I believe, against Dallaire.
Just off camera, we're able from up here to see Coach Engel getting really animated again. Frustrated at the pick, and we spoke about this earlier in the game. These picks from I.W.B.Delinquents need to really lock the guard down. At the minute the guard is slicing, that's moving backwards and forwards as he's trying to set the pick, and he's giving up on that picking position. They're just losing so much time out of their offense every time that happens, and those picks need to be stronger.
Guntner, one-hand pass for Boma, and he's going to hit that all day long.
That's where you can see the work that Toby Hell does off the ball. Canada helping over to the strong side, and Tobias Hell just set the seal underneath and created all the space in the world for Tommy Boma there.
Anderson testing out Dreimüller on the right side. Nice pass inside for Ostapchuk, and he can't get that one to fall.
Fortunate for Germany there. They're working hard on their defense, but they're focused so much on the one-on-ones that they're missing the line, and just there's been a few cuts so far in the game.
Dreimüller gives it to Guntner from the baseline. Can't get it to fall. Both teams' shooters a little cold here to start the second half. 6-point lead Canada. Higgins has his path shut off by Guntner. Kicks it for Anderson. Still 8 on the shot clock for Pat Anderson. And he likes what he sees, and he delivers another 22 points for number 12.
I mean, this is unbelievable already from Anderson. We know how good he is. He's able to pull the trigger there with so little space, and the awareness, constantly looking around himself. He's not even looking at the basket until the very, very last second.
No foul on that play. Anderson went down, pops himself back up again.
Something we see quite a lot in wheelchair basketball, these incidental contacts. Players are coming out of their chair. There's no foul necessarily, but you just have to stop the play for the player's safety.
Here's Boma. Nice little head fake, uses his hips to move into position. Higgins shuts off his path, slings it across for Guntner. Can't get the bank shot to fall, and Anderson gobbles up the rebound. 7 rebounds now for Anderson to go with his 22 points. 3-point attempt, and that one never had a chance.
Well, there aren't going to be too many of those in Patrick Anderson's career, I'm sure, where he's just missed by that much, but puts his hand up and apologizes. So, yep, my bad, let's all move on.
I wasn't laughing at him, I was laughing with him. I think he had a quiet laugh there as well.
I'm sure he took it with good humor.
Here's Boma. And he draws a foul again, as he so often does.
Interesting to see how much Thomas Boma's looking to go inside here at the moment. He hasn't looked to take so many shots from the outside. When he's behind the screen, he's threatening, but then he's looking to drive rather than take the early one and pull the defense out.
Trying to cut into this 8-point lead. Make it 7. Or at least 3 of 5 from the free throw line in the game. Now 4 of 6.
We'll see how long it is that Coach Engel waits to look to bring Alex Haluski back into the game here today, maybe to open that defense up a bit more. Matthias Guntner really struggling with the reach that some of the Canadian low pointers have. Not able to get his clean mismatch shots off at the minute. Just 1 of 6 for him.
Offensive foul being called on Canada. That's called on Garrett Ostapchuk. Team's 3rd foul already. Canada's got 3 fouls, not quite 4 minutes into the 3rd quarter.
That's something that could really have an impact. We've seen how strong Germany's free throw shooting is at the moment, and in wheelchair basketball, if Canada commit 2 more team fouls in this quarter, it'll be free throws for Germany. Defensive fouls, that is.
Guntner, Boma from behind the screen. Got Dallaire behind him, those big arms, and he just marches into the paint, finds his spot, and hits it.
It's great composure from Boma. You could just see, just pushed, stopped, waited, pushed again, waited. Just making reads, making decisions all the time.
16 points now for Boma. He leads his team as Anderson leads his. Here's Higgins. Tries the 3-pointer. Drops the 3-pointer.
That was a huge shot for Canada. Germany just had a little momentum, leading 8-4 in the quarter. Shots like that can absolutely just take that momentum away in an instant, though.
Boma trying to get the momentum back again. Keeps it going for his team. 18 points for Boma. Lead down to 5 again.
We've seen so many times through Boma's career where he comes down and he takes those threes just to heat check the opposition, especially when the one's just been scored early like Higgins did. But making the patient read there and just driving. He knows he's having joy at driving one-on-one against the Canadian defenders at the moment.
Shot clock running down for Higgins. Pick and roll inside for Miller. Shot clock runs out on the Canadians. Shot missed anyway. Here comes Dreimuller.
Interesting that there's no call on the play there. There's a slight contact from behind from Buddha, but Miller continuing through.
Here's Guntner. He's got a mismatch. Can't drop it in.
They're the shots that have to go in from a German perspective. That is Matthias Gunter's game all over, is finding the guard, drawing that mismatch, and taking the shot.
Anderson kicks it out for Higgins. It's a foul being called on Germany. Looks like it was on Bell. Higgins inbounds. Anderson now quickly back to Higgins again. Hit that huge three-pointer on the last trips, or one of the last trips. Anderson takes that pass up high. 2 seconds on the shot clock, and one inside for Dallaire.
Very tough finish for the low pointer there. The pass is coming through at such speed. You have to catch the ball over your shoulder with limited core stability sometimes. And to be able to get the ball and finish immediately is a very, very tough skill.
That was a huge stop for Germany. Now a chance to bite into this 5-point lead. Here's Guntner. Inside. Boma, another one. Over top of Dallaire. 3-point game.
As Boma out to 20 points now as well, chasing Anderson, scoring down here. See the press as well from Germany. They're just looking to extend on their defense as much as possible, and that might not be to get to steal necessarily, but they're looking to take time off the clock as much as possible.
Anderson, just a nice, relaxed bank shot in. Restores his team's 5-point lead.
Let's see if Tommy Boma looks to reply here. Maybe not taking Anderson one-on-one, but driving himself.
That one rattles out, but it's rebounded by Dreimuller. Nice pass inside for Boma. And they get it again and again, and Boma's going to finally finish this off. Great work inside by Buda.
Smart decision by Buda as well there. Like, he's a lot bigger than Thomas Boma, doesn't necessarily have quite as good a touch, but he also had Anderson all over him, and just by feeding the ball down to Boma here, Anderson had no chance of reaching that.
Vermette inside for Anderson. This is that one.
Anderson just losing his bearings a little on the inside there. You could see the work that Tyler Miller was doing off the ball to get Anderson to that position.
Dreimuller the other way. That's a little strong. Anderson comes back to collect the rebound.
That's one of those shots that we saw earlier in the game where you're just rolling through the key, not really sure if you're going to shoot or not. Then in the end, it's difficult to have the same touch you'd normally have.
Anderson hands all over him, works it in for Higgins. What a shot from Colin Higgins to finish.
Great composure by him, and absolutely key as well, because if Germany had come down and hit another, cut this to a 1-point game, then that would have been huge, and all the momentum would have been in Germany's favor. Twice now that Higgins has just heat-checked Germany.
Here's Boma. Higgins goes out to jump him. They work it inside for Guntner. He deals it for Buda. And Germany, real good teamwork right now.
You can see this press again straight away. Thomas Boma on Anderson's foot plates, looking to work him as hard as possible. It's a really nice pick, though, to just get Anderson free.
Anderson jams on the brakes. And now just makes the shot right over top of Buda.
I mean, that's a teaching moment for Alex Buda there. You can't sit there and be relaxed and think that you have Anderson stopped. Any opportunity to pull the trigger, and he will.
Boma will try to initiate his own teaching moment here. Here's Guntner. Dreimuller. Guntner from the elbow. Dallaire all over him, and he sinks one. Nice job by Guntner. 3-point game, final half minute of the third quarter.
Not many players would look to take that shot from that angle off the backboard there either.
This is going to be close. It's a steal. Dreimuller gets it. Here's Boma with the ball inside. Boma back again, and it's a 1-point game. Final seconds of the third quarter.
I think that was 2.9 seconds in the key there, maybe for Thomas Boma. Very, very close.
Oh, that was going to be a huge shot for Canada's Colin Higgins game. Canada holding on, clutching to a 1-point lead. They beat Germany by 16 points in the preliminary round. This is a better German team, playing much better right now. Higgins, Anderson, up, and it's going to rattle out. And Germany with a chance here to try to give us our first lead change of the game, if you could believe it. Boma, Güntner, up, in, and Germany is in the lead for the first time in this game.
That's a huge moment for Germany, but a huge moment for Matthias Güntner personally as well. He was 1 of 7 earlier in the game, and he's up and he's made his last 2 in a row now, and they'll give him such confidence.
Got a foul being called here on Germany, and I think it's on Dreimüller.
Yeah, he landed hard there. I think he may have just caught his face on the side of the Canadian chair, perhaps. Just taking his time to compose himself.
That was the basket that put Germany ahead for the first time in the game. Now to see if Canada can respond. Nico Dreimüller just making sure all the straps are in place, and he's shaking off the cobwebs.
Bit of a veteran move there, maybe just taking his time, giving himself space to compose himself.
Higgins takes it, works it for Vermette, gives to Anderson, fading, firing. Pat Anderson's gotten a little cooler here, and here comes Germany, a chance to add to their 1-point lead with Tommy Boma. Watched by Vermette. Into the paint, Güntner slings it across for Boma. It's going to be a turnover here.
Boma just giving Güntner a round of applause there, saying, hey, that was a good decision, that was fine. He'd have been comfortable with Güntner taking the shot, I'm sure, but Boma was open on the elbow as well. 2 good options. Just overcooked the pass ever so slightly.
You got to think, though, that Germany's wanting to get the ball to Thomas Boma. If I'm Canada, I'm guarding him a little closer now when he doesn't have the ball.
Oh, absolutely. He's out 24 points personal, just behind Patrick Anderson's 26, and being 2 points behind Patrick Anderson is never a bad place to be.
Colin Higgins, I think, was trying to get a foul there. He doesn't get the basket either. Back comes Germany. Here's Güntner. And it's a 3-point lead for Germany.
3 in a row now for Güntner. He's heating up at the right time.
Well, Hedges is out on the floor for Canada. The captain bringing some calmness, they hope, to this squad.
Something we've seen a few times from Canada in the tournament is that in these pressure situations, they're bringing Hedges out, and with the greatest respect to him, he's not the quickest, but very effective.
Got a key rebound there, but couldn't finish after that 3-point attempt from Higgins. So now Germany gets a chance to add to its 3-point lead. Canada's bench is starting to move. Here's Boma. Güntner. And another one.
These shots are getting bigger and bigger and bigger from Matthias Güntner. You could see smart from Higgins, a little contact before he received the ball, so Günther had to fade away. No problem for him, though.
A steal for Dreimüller. Another big play for Germany. Here's Boma from behind the screen. Gives to Güntner, back to Boma. Five on the shot clock, puts it up. It rattles out this time.
There you can see a little bit of the difference in growth for Germany, that a couple of years ago they may have really rushed and taken the emotion of the game into account there.
Giveaway by the Canadian captain. Anderson couldn't reach that pass. Here's Boma back in, and Germany is absolutely ripping now. It's a 7-point lead. Can need someone else to do some scoring. Pat Anderson's been stymied here of late. They've got Nick Gonchen on the floor in place of Higgins. Vincent Dallaire is back out again. Hedges stays out there right now. Anderson trying to make his way into the paint, but he's shut off. Here's Gonchen. Gives it to Dallaire. Doesn't want to shoot. Gives it back to Hedges. He will shoot and put one in. That's a huge basket for Canada.
I think it's a huge basket for Bo Hedges as well. He'd have a couple of turnovers back to back, and that's something that might rattle a less experienced player, but just able to knock that one down ever so calmly.
Meanwhile, Hedges out there directing traffic a little bit. Here's Boma. Slings it back for Dreimuller. Inside for Boma. Time and space, and no problem for Tommy Boma. He's up to 28 points to lead all scorers.
Tough to know if that pass from Dreimuller was intended for Butter or Boma there. Both would have been good options, but it made his way through to Boma in the end.
Here is Nick Gonchen. Been a long time since a Patrick Anderson basket, and a foul being called here on Guntner.
It was a smart foul by Guntner. They knew that Canada had a little bit of momentum there and some transition, and he just needed to stop the play for a second there. Only a second personal, though, so he's got plenty of fouls to play with.
7-point lead, Germany. Patrick Anderson in for Gonchen. Spins, try to create some space, better angle for himself, and he hits.
Huge moment for Nick Gonchen. He's not seen huge amounts of minutes so far here today, and that's tough sometimes to come off the bench and hit a shot like that straight away.
Dreimuller picks it up, starts the shot clock. Here's Boma, watched by Gonchen, almost threw the ball away.
Boma just telling the referee there's contact there, showing him the mark on his arm, I think.
And Boma busts right into the hoop and lays it in. He's got 30 points in the game.
We said it's not bad being 2 points behind Patrick Anderson. Boma's overtaken him now, 30-26 between the two shooters.
Gonchen for Anderson, under pressure, gets the shot. And it's going to be a foul call, third team foul for Germany with 4.5 minutes left.
Smart by Dreimuller, making all of that contact before the ball was in Anderson's hands. If he'd have waited till he was shooting the ball, Anderson would have been shooting free throws right now, but made sure that the foul was early enough.
Gonchen takes the pass, shoots from behind the basket. That was always going to be tough, but he gets his own rebound. And the ball pinballs around, and guess who picks it up? Boma.
Germany off to the races here. They've got to lay up if they're quick. Great job, though, by Vermette just stopping the pass.
Here's Boma busting right back in. He gets fouled by Dallaire. Canada probably wants to pick up a foul or two here. That's a non-shooting foul.
Later in the game, it could be really important for Canada just to have picked their team fouls up a little. As you said, they want to be able to stop the clock if necessary, put Germany to the line and try and get some extra possessions, potentially.
Here's Thomas Boma thinking, pausing, waiting. Now the time is right, and he drills a three-pointer.
Huge from Thomas Boma. We've not seen him score a lot from outside so far today, despite his unbelievable 33 points. That was an enormous shot from him, though.
Here's Gonchen, takes the pass from Vermette. Has been known to shoot a three-pointer or two, but doesn't get a chance. Weaves his way in, puts up a two, rebounded by Boma, and it's all about Germany right now. 10-point lead with under 3.5 to play.
I mean, this is an unbelievable fourth quarter so far from Germany. You couldn't have predicted this 15 minutes ago. They are 15-4 up in the quarter.
And Boma with red-hot hands, just about burning a hole in the ball. Nice feed inside, Tobias Hell. Shot clock ran out, though.
That might be one that the Germany coach...
No, actually, 4 out of 5 in their starting lineup. Gonchen's going to stay in for Higgins. Ostapchuk is back out there. Here's Anderson. Hasn't been able to shoot much in this quarter. Gonchen in heavy traffic. And a unsportsmanlike being called here on Germany's Guntner, it looks like.
Just a bit of a lack of inexperience from Tobias Hell there. You could see Guntner was beaten just by the head fake of Anderson. Hell flying through to footplate Anderson. A smart decision, just too enthusiastic, a little too over-emotional there, Hell.
Good call on that one. First time Pat Anderson's put the ball in quite some time. That's his 27th point of the game. Takes a breath. Now Canada's going to get a chance to inbound, down by 10.
Let's see how Germany react to that. That could potentially be a bit of a momentum check for them, giving them that look.
3-point attempt for Gonchen. That is off the mark.
Confidence by Gonchen there to pull the trigger.
What choice do you have at this point in the game? You got to launch some.
Absolutely. It's they need the early shots. They can't afford to run the shot clocks down too much. But for Gonchen to come off the bench and want to take that one, that shows his belief.
Boma slings it back for Dreimuller. Guntner. Boma. Watched by Ostapchuk. Gonchen picks up the coverage. Here's Buda. No. Rebounded by Anderson. Ostapchuk off to the races. And he gets it to fall. And then he's hit by Guntner. No foul on the play. The lead is down to 8. 2 down by 8. Put the ball in the hands of their offensive leader, Boma. He gives it to Dreimuller, who carried the load in the early part of this game for Germany. Now Buda.
You can see exactly what Canada are wanting to do. They're trying to keep the ball out of Boma's hands, making Buda come up to receive it. By doing that, Buda's not setting the screens for Boma.
A miss, but then Boma's there to collect the garbage and put it in the trash can.
That was a great defense by Canada right up until the point they just switched off after the shot.
Gonchen does well to stay in bounds. And then has the ball knocked away. Boma collects it. What a huge play for Tommy Boma. Inside of 90 seconds to play, a foul called here on Ostapchuk. That's not a bad decision either.
He does need to be a little careful, however. That foul was from behind, and if the referees don't believe that he's made a genuine play at the ball, they could call an unsportsmanlike.
That was a huge steal there for Boma. Another timeout being called. I think this one is by Canada with one. Germany inbounds. Haluski's out on the floor. And Boma fouled. Not maybe the guy you want to be fouling, but that is the 4th team foul for Germany, or for Canada, so he's not shooting baskets yet.
And you can see that call from the German coach there to bring Haluski into the game. Matthias Gunder's had a great finish to this game, but Alex Haluski, such an experienced scorer in big moments, particularly for the Thuringia Bulls. And you can see the faith that Germany have in him there. Played very limited minutes in this game, but when it comes down to free throws at the end, it's his and Boma's hands that they want the ball in. That's exactly why they have that faith in him. Such a cool, calm customer, and just pointing to the bench, like acknowledging that.
Cool as a cucumber. Germany shooting 77% in this game. They came into the game only shooting 63 on free throw percentage, and that's exactly what Canada did not want to happen. Now the deficit is 12, and it starts to become a miracle, or a minor miracle. Gonchen puts up a 3. Not gonna fall. Dreimuller. Boma. Watched by Miller, who fouls him. So Germany's best shooter is gonna go to the line.
Miller needs to be careful there as well. It's one of those that would be pedantic by a referee to call an unsportsmanlike foul there, but Miller wasn't making a clear play for the ball, so I don't feel it should be an unsportsmanlike by any stretch, but a referee who maybe doesn't have the feeling for the game may have called it, so it's something just to be aware of as a defensive player.
Miller's done for the game anyway. He's off to the bench with 5 fouls. Vinny Dallaire takes his spot. Matteo Farini took his team to the repechage tournament earlier this year. They lost the first 3 games. It was looking super bleak for Canada. They found a way to beat Italy and earn a spot in Paris. and then won twice in the preliminary round. Got a quarterfinal win. Now they get a three-pointer from Nick Gonchin with 54.6 seconds left to cut the lead to 10. Is it enough? Is it soon enough?
Good by Gonchin, a quick foul there as well to back that up. Shows he's not just resting on there, making that three. Very, very little time off the clock, but Nico Dreimuller, another good scorer. Just looking at the points averages, Germany have been averaging just shy of 56 points a game leading into this match. Then in the moment that matters the most, they have 69 already.
Well, and it's this quarter. It's this quarter that they've just caught fire. 22 points. They had 20 in the third. 22 points in this fourth quarter, now becomes 23.
And if there's going to be a time to do it, this is absolutely it.
And they are just red hot. That is now 5 of 6 from the line for Dreimuller. Chad Jasmine slings a pass in for Anderson. He wants to shoot a three. Puts it up, finally hits the three-pointer. Just hasn't had a chance to shoot much at all in the second half.
That three was unbelievable. So much pressure on him there. Alex Butter is absolutely huge, and his hand was all the way up.
Canada hoping somebody on Germany will miss a free throw so they can have a chance to try to make a miracle comeback here.
I mean, from a Canadian perspective, they're doing absolutely everything they need to do. They're making their threes, they're fouling quickly. Germany just are not missing at the moment from the line.
In addition to all the other work he's doing, Dreimuller has drawn 6 fouls. Of course, some of them have come here late. And he gets 2 of 2 yet again. We're down within the final seconds of this one. Gonchin can't get that one to fall. Canada led by 6 after the first quarter. Led by 8 at halftime. But Germany has absolutely caught fire here in the second half.
46 points in a half of basketball is almost as many as Germany were averaging in an entire game leading into this. It's very, very difficult for Canada to do a lot about that. And obviously they're adding to the score now with these free throws, but still an unbelievable performance.
Well, I got to say, they've done a spectacular job, Germany, on Patrick Anderson in the second half. He just hasn't had much chance to shoot, except for off balance, off angle. He gives it to Ostapchuk. He sets up for a three. And then Haluski picks up the rebound, and he's going to go back to the foul line again with 12.8 seconds left. But folks, this is going to be icing on the cake, I fear, for Germany if you're a Canadian fan. They are beginning to celebrate.
I was just going to say, these celebrations have already started. Arms around the shoulders, German flags out, and it's been a long, long wait for this German team for a Paralympic medal.
So Nick Gonchin has just fouled out of the game. Reid Daith, the youngster, coming in, actually in place of Patrick Anderson. Is that the last time we see the great Patrick Anderson in Paralympic wheelchair basketball? He says it is.
And what the camera didn't quite catch there was, as Anderson was subbed out of the game, there was a round of applause from the German staff and their bench as well, just appreciating the contribution that great man has made today.
And Germany is going to just hold the ball, and that will do it. For the first time since 1992, Germany is going to be on the Paralympic podium with a bronze medal win.